Unmute. Hello, my name is Jamie J, and I am the founder and managing director for Bottleneck Virtual Assistants. And today on this Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in, I am going to be talking about how to become a virtual assistant. Now, I typically do stuff for our clients or people that are interested in hiring a virtual assistant, and I think this will still be very valuable for you. But for those of you that are interested in becoming a VA or a virtual assistant and work either from our offices located in Eastwood City or just outside of Manila, or working remotely from home, hopefully this Facebook Live will help you out. Now, to learn more, you can always go to bottleneck.online. That's our website to pick up on jobs that we have that are out there for you to hire. That's one of the first things that I would recommend as a virtual assistant looking to work from home, from a remote location, or from our offices in Eastwood City. I would encourage you to first do this. Go to the website and check it out. Look around and see kind of like the different positions that they have. And then I would go to hiring.bottleneck.online. Go to hiring.bottleneck.online. That's the first step you can do in becoming a virtual assistant for Bottleneck. Now, have to admit, we're really picky about the virtual assistants that we choose. There's a set of criteria that you must reach or attain in order to become a Bottleneck virtual assistant. There's a 4-step hiring process, and it's pretty straightforward, but there is some problem solving that you need to go through, and it is a pretty lengthy application process. Here's why. Number one, we want to make sure that you can accomplish things on the internet, online, on the interwebs, because if you can't, how in the heck are you going to be a good virtual assistant for our clients? Our clients are looking for the best of the best. They are busy professionals that really need help. And while they do train specifically for the tasks that they're giving you, because we don't know what their work is, they do, we do want you to have some. As a virtual assistant, we want you to come into this with knowledge. Now, does that necessarily mean if you have to have experience? Not really. You must have an unbelievable work ethic, drive. You must be kind and honest and full of integrity. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what we do to help us identify those different attributes in our virtual assistants here in just a second. So yeah, you don't need a ton of experience, but it is really nice to have it. So as you go through the application process, you'll be doing some problem solving, answering questions. And then what happens is we take all of the answers. So be very careful how you answer these questions, and those get output into a PDF that we use as a resume. Sure, you can attach a resume all you want, but I'll let you know that that when we submit it to our clients, it comes out in a specific branded form that we then send to them. The other thing that we look for is doing a video resume. One of the biggest challenges our US-based clients or English-speaking clients have in outsourcing to the Philippines is making sure that not only can you read and write, but that you speak well and you can comprehend English at a very, very high level. So you have to be really good at the English language in order to secure a position with Bottleneck. We are a premium service, and what a premium service means is that we look for college grads and or the equivalent, because as we understand and all know, those advanced degrees over and beyond high school are taught in English. And we need to make sure that you understand and grasp the language, and you can communicate effectively with perhaps not only your client, but perhaps with your client's clients. Understanding that you go through this process, complete it on time, that through the hiring process, that is going to come in, and we're going to be able to reach out to you through our and schedule an interview that we'll call a pre-screening interview. So basically, we talk with you ever before we introduce you to one of our clients. What we normally do is we go through what we call as a 3-tiered vetting process. Number one, we make sure that you can read and write and speak and comprehend English. That's very important. Number two is what we call a tech check. And this is where working from remote, working from home, this is super important. You must, and I say capital M-U-S-T, you must have your own computer, your own backup, because in the hiring process, we ask you to write out in paragraphical form what happens if the power goes out, which you're on an island, power will go out, right? What happens if your computer, you drop your computer and it breaks? How are you going to reach out to the client? How are you going to reach out to us and let us know, hey, the power's out, or hey, my computer's broken? Do you have a backup computer? And what kind of computer do you have? We want you to send us a screenshot of what kind of computer you have so that we can make sure that that computer is up to date and up to speed and you're going to be able to work with it. We also would like to know what your internet connection is. And we'd like to know that you have the capacity of being hardwired in for security reasons. This is all very important for our clients because they want to make sure if you're working with them and you're handling sensitive data, that that data is not going to be released. Case in point, here's an example. We had a virtual assistant, the power went out, the power went out in their home. So they went to a coffee shop and they were working on a public Wi-Fi with very sensitive data. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. So it's very important that you have good technology, uninterrupted power supply, a UPS, purchase that. That would be nice if the power goes down, you can have that, and then have a backup plan. Be very careful as well that you're not toting your laptop around with all this information on it. If you're working either from a medical point of view with HIPAA compliancy or just in general, when you're logging in, don't let other people play on your computer. It's your computer. There's very important information on there. Have a backup. So don't have your kids on your computers and stuff like that. The other thing that we want to make sure is that when you are there, because a lot of the meetings that are held via video conference on Zoom or Skype, and you don't want a lot of background noise. No roosters or chickens or dogs barking or cats meowing or heavy traffic going by. Also, you want to have a nice work environment. It's really good to maybe have a white wall behind you or a white sheet or some kind of a backdrop behind you that is very professional. The third thing that we do is we vet for soft skills, and basically that's your communication, your people skills, and we do that through a DISC assessment. If you don't know what a DISC assessment is, you soon will if you are going to go through the hiring process, because you have to complete a DISC profile. Once this is all done, we submit your resume, your video resume, and your DISC profile to our clients for review. So for every candidate interview, now that you've gone through the pre-screening process and the reference checks and the hiring process and all of that, now it's time for you to meet the client. And this is where you haven't received the job yet, but you've been invited to participate in a client interview. Now, for every client interview, we offer a minimum of three candidates to the client so that they can interview them. And so here's a couple things that you want to be able to do and be prepared. Make sure that you've researched the client, that you understand what their business is. You've been to their website. You have a clear and concise knowledge of your history. Be able to talk about that and enunciate that. And the other thing is, be prepared to ask questions. When a client asks you a question, don't just answer yes or no. A lot of times clients may say, do you know how to? And that's what we call a close-ended question, because you can answer it with just a yes or a no. Always elaborate. Yes, as a matter of fact, I do know about this. I have certain experience. Don't be afraid to say no. That is a really big thing, because a lot of people get into trouble when they answer yes, when they really don't know what it is that they're talking about. So you'll go through this candidate interview, and the client will choose one of the candidates to do what we call is a confirmation interview. This confirmation interview is very important because this is like the second step to getting hired. It's getting really close to being hired, and you should feel really honored to have received that confirmation interview request. What we do though is we leave the onus on you. So after the interviews, you'll be contacted and you'll be said, okay, hey, unfortunately, they didn't choose you. And if that happens, don't worry. Let us know what questions you have, and we'll work on getting you placed in another interview. So don't let that get you down, okay? But if you do get chosen, this is a great time. The onus is on you for you to email the client and set up the schedule, the consultation interview. The reason why this is really important, is because we need to understand that you're going to take initiative as the virtual assistant. And this is a great sign, because now the client sees, oh, wow, they're emailing me, they're being responsive, they're being timely. And when you do schedule that time with them, show up on time. As a matter of fact, show up early. Whatever you're going to do, whether it's Skype, whether it's Zoom, it doesn't matter. Make sure you show up on time. If for some reason you are unable to make that interview, you need to reach out to us. You need to reach out to the client. If the power goes down or whatever the case may happen, we all know things happen. You need to be proactive in your communication at all times. A good virtual assistant is proactive in their communication. And that goes for whether you know things or you don't know things. So make sure that you're very proactive in that communication. Now, going back to this confirmation interview, this is an opportunity for you and your client to get to know each other really well. And for the client, they're going to be prepared with giving you or presenting you with a task. Now, you're not hired yet, but in order for them to understand that you can do what you say you can do, you need to be able to be prepared to complete this task. Typically, the task is not going to last you any more than 20 or 30 minutes, but it's kind of like a test, right? So they're going to make sure that you are going to do everything according to what they expect. Now, there is some onus on the client as well, because they have to prepare this in advance, and I want them to be crystal clear on their delivery. They should have job roles and responsibility, and they should have a protocol, an SOP, a workflow, a process in which you were to be able to complete that task. And that needs to be pretty clear. If it's not, you need to ask questions. Please do not be afraid to ask questions, especially in the beginning, because this learning curve really needs to be a two-way street. And a lot of the clients haven't hired a lot of people before, and probably maybe you never hired a remote assistant. So the onus is even more on you to make sure that you're asking these questions. Then they're also going to ask you to complete this task by a certain deadline. I highly recommend making sure and repeating back to them, okay, this is the task and this is the deadline that you want me to complete it by. I highly recommend completing the task early, but definitely not late. If you complete it on time, great, you've done exactly what they've done, but why not exceed their expectations? And why not start exceeding their expectations early on and continue doing so? That's how you're going to maintain your position. So once you do that and you do a good job in that confirmation interview, the task is you knock it out of the park. It's up to your client. As soon as you finish that, you'll let us know that, hey, you've completed your confirmation interview. The client will also reach out to us and let us know that that confirmation interview has been completed. And then they'll make a decision from there on whether or not they want to move forward. We will in turn let you know that, yes, you've been hired, or unfortunately, they've decided to go in another direction, but please don't let that get you down. And then once you start, it's very important for you to be proactive in the first initial couple of weeks for the training process. What we recommend every single person do, every single VA, is you initiate communications. Now, the communication, how that's going to be done, whether it's Slack or Zoom or email or whatever, that's up to the client. You work with Bottleneck, but you report to our clients. So we will never know what kind of work you're doing there, but we are responsible for your payroll, for any HR issues. If you don't show up, you can believe me, the client will call us and we'll be tracking you down to see what's happening. But that's why it's so important for communication. One thing I recommend that you do, and you can even say this in your interviews with your clients, with the prospects, potential clients, is this is what I would like to do for communication wise. When I come on my shift first thing, I'm going to email you or I'm going to message you based on the best way that you would like to communicate with me that I'm there for work that day. Before lunch, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update. I'm going to message you again and let you know that I'm going to be stepping away for an hour. And then you're going to clock out. And then when you come back on the clock, you're going to clock back in and you're going to say, hey, I'm back. I'm working again. If there's anything you need from me, let me know. I'm going to continue on with my tasks. And then 15 minutes before the end of the day, it's imperative that you message your client every single day on all the tasks you completed, on all the tasks you have yet to complete. And the reason I say 15 minutes prior to the end of their shift, this is important. Ask them if you need anything before I leave today. So, and then once you leave, you're out. So that is in a nutshell how to get hired. I would brush up on the latest technologies, learn if you're a bookkeeper, make sure you are ready to talk about your experiences. If you're an administrative assistant, make sure that you can tell them that what kind of email platforms you worked on, what kind of CRM, customer relation management software you're familiar with, and always be moving forward. Continue to improve yourself. Don't let someone else give you the education that you need. It's great if they do, but take that on yourself. Be inspired, take action. Always learn. I learn every single day. And so that would be my advice to you on how to become a virtual assistant with Bottleneck. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. You can reach us anytime. Again, my name is Jamie J. I am the managing director and founder of Bottleneck Virtual Assistants, where we help stop the bottleneck in your business. So as a VA, reach out to us. You can go to bottleneck.online to learn more, and we look forward to working with you soon. So thanks so much. Have a fantastic day, and yeah, we'll talk soon.